All right, what's going on, Legion fans? Welcome to, what is this, our third? I think this is our third.
This is the third. It feels like the 30th.
Oh, it's so long. Our third episode of Mutant Mayhem Podcast.
That's right.
We have been through.
They have not been easy, people.
Man, and
they get worse.
You know what the worst part is? All of these bad ones. Well, actually, apart from this one, this is the one that wasn't. But all the bad ones,
yeah,
except for this one, have not been on Disney Plus yet. So I've had to buy them.
That's true.
I've had to purchase them. Like
You're exactly right.
It's the worst. It's
Yeah.
like not only do I have to watch this movie, but I also have to pay $4 to stream it on Amazon. They're not worth $4.
They are getting worse and worse.
They do. Oh,
and worse.
Wait,
I honestly believe, and I'm just saying this right now. I haven't watched Dark Phoenix
I was gonna say
yet.
just wait.
I haven't watched New Mutants yet.
Oh yeah, that's
but
right. I
what I'm
haven't either.
saying is, we went through this, and it was X-Men Last Stand.
Yep.
X-Men Origins
Wolverine. Yep.
Now it's
Now
Apocalypse.
Oh.
Literally, I honestly think these 5,
Yeah.
from what I've heard and what I've read and what I've seen so far for Dark Phoenix and for New Mutants, I honestly think they are in descending order of how terrible they are.
I have seen Dark Phoenix. And
Do you think it's worse?
It's bad. It's
Is
worse,
it worse
than Apocalypse. Oh yeah, it's definitely.
Apocalypse. Like,
Apocalypse
if you agree
is
with
more
the same,
entertaining.
Like, for right now.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly, in my order, I would say, like, in descending order of best to worst.
Yeah.
Is literally going to be Last Stand, Origins, Apocalypse.
Yes.
Probably Dark Phoenix, and then we have to see where New Mutants lands.
That's where I'm. Where I'm worried.
Where I'm saying the Rotten Tomato has New Mutants as like the lowest of these 5.
Does it?
Yeah, I think so.
I haven't looked up the Rotten Tomatoes ones.
Rotten Tomatoes on this had it like in single digits from what I remember.
Well, here's the deal. I saw Dark Phoenix and it was bad.
Yeah.
So I honestly
I'm
don't know how New
to
Mutants could be worse.
I don't know. They're you have to remember Dark Phoenix was like a big part of this storyline that they were doing. It's like of the new X-Men, it was the 5th movie
of the for the First Class ones?
Yeah.
No,
so
which one? Dark Phoenix?
First Class, Days of Future Past.
Apocalypse is fourth.
So it's the fourth one.
Yeah.
Like New Mutants killed. That was the 4th one. So Dark Phoenix didn't kill it until the 4th one. Like New Mutants is getting nothing after it. It's killed anything it's doing after it.
Oh, yeah. Well, and they knew that because it was going right over to Disney afterward, and they knew that at that point, then Disney wasn't going to keep
I don't know.
going.
I think they were hoping for something a little bit more from it. But we'll see.
Anyway.
We'll see.
Yeah, so...
but this is bad.
This is the first bad one that we're doing that involves the new crew.
That's right.
So Class. So X-Men Third Stand, or the Last Stand.
Dude, you might as well name it that way.
So bad.
One of the things we're going to talk about is timeline, and they're all mixed up at this point.
All different timelines everywhere. But
you call it whatever you want.
I almost said it again. Last Stand was terrible, and then we had a good break from X-Men movies until First Class came out.
First Class was phenomenal.
First Class, they decided to kind of start everything over, and it was good. It was really fun. It was a new, shake up on things.
Really good casting.
I was very skeptical because Sir Patrick Stewart and Sir Ian McKellen.
Oh,
you can't remove them.
But they brought in McAvoy and Fassbender,
and they were great.
They were phenomenal.
I loved it, and it was fresh take. It didn't feel like exactly like them. And
because they were doing early origin stories, which was the right move.
It was solid. And then they did Days of Future Past, which is one of my favorite comic book runs in X-Men. I love it. They changed a lot of it, but I wasn't mad about the changes.
It was solid.
It was good.
It was a solid movie. It wasn't great, but it was solid.
Right, and they put the effort into it. Like McAvoy and Fassbender actually, they studied Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen's like dialects and accents to try and change the way they talk so they could sound like younger versions of them. Like it was really cool.
They put a lot of work in, from what I understood,
and it was fun.
And it wasn't even just that; they did studying of the actual comic run, and that showed in the work in the performances that they were exemplifying.
And they went back to their tried and true. They followed
the comics.
Wolverine. Oh, yeah.
Well,
but also Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman became the centerpiece again. So Hugh Jackman was literally in one scene in First Class, and he told them to get out of his face,
get out of here.
Right? Which was one of the best scenes in the movie.
Yeah,
and then
probably my favorite.
And then Days of Future Past, that he becomes the centerfold again.
Right.
And it was great. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
And you know what? Everybody kind of was
in a
great
really
supporting
cool way.
around him.
In a really
Super
dark
cool.
and cool way.
Yeah. And then they kind of set up as like, okay, Hugh Jackman's timeline is back to normal, and the First Class timeline is its own thing. So they had two timelines kind of running away from each other, and that was okay.
Right.
And then the stinger for that movie was the Four Horsemen, and it was like, oh yeah, they're doing Apocalypse. Okay, all right, like they can do this. And then they cast Oscar Isaac.
Yeah,
as Apocalypse.
We love Oscar Isaac.
Oh, yeah, man. This is going to be so good.
Yep.
And then it was garbage.
Hot garbage.
It was the first time I watched it, I actually didn't see it in theaters. I didn't get around to it.
No.
And I heard bad reviews, so I was like, all right, I'm not going to push for it.
I saw it in theaters.
I didn't see it in theaters. The first time I saw it, I watched it in my living room.
Yeah.
And I watch I won't turn a movie off. It's bad. Okay.
I agree. Yeah.
I turned on.
I've watched excessively bad.
I watched
all
Jake
the way
Gyllenhaal, Prince of Persia. Right. I started at like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And the buddy I was watching it with passed out. Like 5 minutes into it because it's terrible.
Yeah,
I stayed up till like 4 a.m. watching the whole. I had to watch it. I had to watch the whole thing. Anyway,
I have to watch. I have to watch them at least one time.
Yeah.
So I will watch a terrible movie,
and
I will watch it all the way through every single time. And you know what? And Carly has made fun of me plenty of times. Like I watch bad movies over again sometimes just to be like, was it really as bad?
It was that bad.
As I remember.
Well, this one was one of those.
Double check.
It was that bad.
Yeah.
Well, I almost didn't watch it the first time. That's what I'm trying to get at. Is that my first time watching it was in my living room.
Yeah.
I almost turned it off.
You almost turned it off.
I almost shut it off. I was like, I can't even finish this.
I've only had a handful of movies where that is. This wasn't one of them.
Yeah.
Because for me, I was just like, there were the Four Horsemen storyline.
Yeah.
And you know what? To be transparent.
Yeah,
rooting for Apocalypse again. I was like, let this man become like the destroyer of this world because it needs to end because this is terrible. Let's end it.
No, but
let's end it.
He was written so badly.
Oh, yeah,
I couldn't even root for him as a bad guy.
Don't get me wrong. He was written.
I was rooting
terribly.
I was rooting for Magneto to destroy the world.
Oh,
he was going to, and he was actually.
He could have done it. He could have done it.
He could. Well, and we'll get to that.
And nobody could have stopped him.
Yeah. Apparently,
nobody could have stopped him because they couldn't get through his force field.
Yeah.
So I digress. I digress. So
we'll get to that. So
I knew I was watching that one all the way through.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's been very few. One of them I almost walked out of the theater was
Iron Man 3.
Iron Man 3. Hated that movie.
You stayed because your wife allowed you.
Made me.
Yeah.
Dragged me down. But this is one of those where we rewatched it the other night, Carly and I. Yeah. And I had to take a call at one point in the middle of it for work, and I came back and I was like, "Hey, remind me about what I missed." And she goes, "I don't know what you missed."
You know what the worst part is?
She was like,
"You missed the best part of the movie."
You
missed Quicksilver saving everybody.
Yeah, I missed Quicksilver.
That's literally the best part of the movie.
No, and then right after when Apocalypse gives all of them their upgraded powers.
Oh yeah.
Which is just like him making the same like. You, my child, deserve more than what this world has to offer.
We were saying he reminds us of Ooze from Power Rangers.
Ivan Ooze. He reminds us of
Ivan Ooze, but without all the campy jokes.
We're getting too far. We need to do.
Let's do our Carnage report.
Carnage report, exactly.
And then we'll get into.
And then we can talk about all of this. We're getting too excited about how bad this is.
It's so bad.
Go ahead.
All right. So for our Carnage report, we always go over who's in it. How much money it made.
We already talked a lot about who's in it.
Yeah, that's true. And it's source material and where they try to pull everything from. So let's first look at how much money it made. So its budget was $178 million.
That's a big budget.
It was a big budget, and you know what?
Shows
it showed
because
the effects were cool.
Well, they used effects everywhere.
All the places.
Everywhere.
Except in making Apocalypse look like Apocalypse.
Right.
They gave him a junky costume.
Yo, I got to tell you this.
Yeah.
So Oscar Isaac, do you know that Oscar Isaac says that he hated doing this movie. He wanted to be out of this movie as soon as he got into it.
He looked
and
like
he
it.
had no idea. And the reason why
Yeah.
is because he had to get hours upon hours
Makeup.
of work and makeup done.
Yeah.
He couldn't then get out of the suit. When he was in the suit, he had to be in a temperature-controlled room because of how hot it got him, and then nobody was in the room with him. He literally
sat there?
He sat by himself in a temperature-controlled room, and he said it was the worst experience of his life.
Poor guy.
Doing this movie.
Because I just feel so bad for him, because then when it's over, like if it was a great movie,
he tried
it'd be worth
so hard. He tried so hard.
I don't know, man. He looked like he was going to fall asleep half his lines.
Well, but that's because he had. That's because it was
bad.
190 degrees.
Yeah,
in his costume.
He was probably having a heat stroke the entire time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well,
exactly. Let's not. But he tried.
It did make money.
It made money.
178 million. It made 543 million.
Yeah. And
so it made good money.
Don't know how.
I don't know. It's so the critics
honestly
score,
though,
yeah,
an Age of Apocalypse movie, that run, that storyline.
Yeah, that's
X-Men,
probably why people came out for it.
Right, but it should have made a lot more money.
Oh yeah, well,
this is X-Men's Endgame.
It should have been in more than one movie.
Exactly.
It shouldn't have been over one.
Exactly. This is X-Men's Big Bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. It's the end of the world for the mutants, so it
Right.
should have been. It should have been more grandiose. But
yeah,
audience score actually got it pretty good on Rotten Tomatoes. It gave it 65%. So that's like not the we've seen way worse.
Way worse. We have seen way worse.
Critic reviews though gave it a 47%.
That makes sense. And
much more.
I mean,
that's
we see audience scores being higher than critics, but like the critics got this right.
They did. For once it's I feel like a lot of times it's the other way around, but I agree with the critics on this one. It was a bomb. It was just a bombshell. So
hard to make it through.
Oh yeah. So we had a lot of returners here, and like we were talking about this before. I don't know how they kept. I mean, I understand for this one, but like Dark Phoenix, I don't know how they got everybody back.
How they keep bringing back of these amazing actors just makes no sense to me.
Yeah. So James McAvoy comes back as Professor X, Michael Fassbender as Magneto, Jennifer Lawrence returns as Mystique, Nicholas Hoult as the Beast. And then we have some new people.
Beast.
Oh, he's a great Beast. Yeah. I like Kelsey Grammer better.
Oh
but
yeah.
I only because I like the older Beast.
Yes.
Like that's the only reason. Other than
agree.
that, Rose Byrne comes back as Moira McTaggart. We get Evan Peters returning as Quicksilver, which is great.
Yep.
And then Josh Hellman comes back as a younger William Stryker, the same guy who played him in Days of Future Past.
Makes no sense.
I know. We'll get to that, too. And then we have some new people coming in, which I think they did a good job in this. We have Ben Hardy coming in as Angel. Mm-hmm. We have Cody Smith-McPhee as Kurt Wagner or Nightcrawler, which is great. We have Ty Sheridan, who I didn't like him so much as Scott Summers as Cyclops in this movie, but he did better in Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
So we have Sheridan coming in there. Sophie Turner coming off of Game of Thrones comes in as Jean Grey.
Yep.
Seemed to be a great idea, but she fell flat. Yeah, she fell flat.
It did not work.
And then Oscar Isaac again as Apocalypse coming in. So again, good cast.
Yeah.
I was excited to see everybody in this. I thought they were all going to be good.
I was excited. I mean, like, I've always been excited for what's now considered the older cast, the Michael Fassbender, the McAvoy, that whole crew.
Yeah.
I really liked them. The newbies, they didn't do it for me.
Yeah,
they didn't do it at all for me. Nobody felt. I know you've talked about how you felt like some of them hit really well. I didn't think any of them clicked for me.
Yeah, well,
except for Quicksilver. Except for Quicksilver.
Well, and
Quicksilver was the only good one.
And Cody McPhee, the guy who played Nightcrawler. I thought he was
passable for me.
We also had I forgot we have Alexandra Shipp who played Storm, or she was more Aurora Monroe. She was like younger in that, so she played that.
You mean the woman who hid behind rocks all the time?
Yeah. And then
Half the movie she's hiding.
Lucas Till returned as Havoc as well.
Right.
So a few other people.
Before he got blown up.
Yeah, and he was a good Havoc. I like him as Havoc, but yeah, he did get blown up. Which, ironic. He's an exploding. His power is explosions, and then explosion got him.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Source material. We've got the Age of Apocalypse run, which was a huge series.
Easy. Easy stuff to pull from.
A lot of material too. There's so many offshoots of the so just like
multiple movies.
Well, like when Marvel did Civil War, they had like Civil War Frontline and Civil War Dark Avengers, like all these different offshoots of that. And same with Age of Apocalypse. There was lots of different offshoots. There was the main storyline and then offshoots for that.
Sure.
So plenty of material to pull from.
Oh my gosh,
from very little.
Right.
So it really didn't run so Age of Apocalypse in the comics is an alternate timeline where Xavier is dead and Magneto runs the X-Men. So
disappointing use. Yeah. Disappointing use of source material. And it's like this is a theme, people.
Yeah.
Like it's not that hard when you stray so far from some of the best source material that comic fans love.
Yeah.
Love.
Yeah.
You're going to get a bad movie.
Yeah. Age of Apocalypse is, and I mentioned Days of Future Past is one of my favorite runs.
Yeah, I said the same thing.
But Age of Apocalypse.
It's like top 2.
Age of Apocalypse, I think, is my top run.
Really?
Yeah. And again, it's only good because of how it sits beside like the actual X-Men story, like the actual X-Men timeline. That's why it's so good, because you get to see everybody so different, you know? Like you get to see Angel running a high-class, like upper echelon mutant kind of mansion, and then you get to see Scott and Havoc becoming bad guys, you know, and running as like police for Mr. Sinister, and you get to see Jean Grey and Wolverine kind of their own team. It's all on their own. You see Magneto and Rogue have a family together and like run the X-Men together, and Mystique, is running Intel, and Nightcrawler's an assassin, and so you get to see all these different really cool variations of who you love.
Everything you just said, sounds awesome.
So great.
Did any of what you just said make it in this movie, Greg?
No, none of
Not it. One thing that you just described that sounds awesome was in this movie.
None of it. None of it happened.
Nunzo, Dunzo, nada, zip.
Wolverine loses a hand and gets a harpoon for a hand.
That's awesome.
That's so cool. Oh no, I'm sorry, not Wolverine. No, it's Wolverine. Yeah, I think
either way.
Anyway, regardless,
none of that happens here.
No, none of it happens.
Age of Apocalypse is the source material, but
failed it.
They don't use it.
Well, and you know what? We're jumping ahead again.
Let's
jump go into our correction.
There you go.
All right. All right, so as always with our correction, we try and think of a few of the major kind of sins we see within these movies.
Yes.
So, what was one of the big ones for you?
I
mean, I know there's a lot.
No, I know, but you know the thing that bothers me more than anything.
What is it?
Is this darn time travel?
Oh yeah,
man, it messes everything up.
Yeah, they don't know where they were.
I have no idea where they are in storylines at this point. I'm lost. I'm totally lost, and if anybody has a way to be able to map this out for me that it makes sense, please send it along to us, because I am lost, okay?
No clue.
Wolverine shows up in this one, and he's in his Weapon X gear, right?
Which is okay. That's the right time period.
It's the right time period, but their ages don't match up. And then this is also the third time we see a new origin story for Wolverine in these movies.
With a third Stryker.
There's a third Stryker who's at a third age level.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, he was like in his 60s in X2.
Sure.
And then he was like in his 40s in Wolverine Origins,
and now he's in his 30s.
30s,
like maybe late 20s, early 30s.
He's
like,
young.
What is going on here?
He definitely doesn't have a kid at this point that he's
that
trying
entire story-line, by the way, that entire side move over to Stryker and Wolverine.
No point.
Unnecessary.
No
Complete.
point.
Why did we do this?
It's like almost 30 minutes. You could cut it out.
It's the same movie. Same movie.
There was no Stryker wasn't working with Apocalypse. Stryker didn't even like stop them from doing what they needed to do with Apocalypse. It wasn't even like he was a distraction from them trying to do something important.
So
it was just a chance to show Hugh Jackman.
That is one example of exactly. It's
That's
just
it.
like
Here's
what everybody wants to see.
They didn't even give him any lines.
A shirtless Hugh Jackman
Grunting
playing Wolverine.
He's skewering people.
He's goring everyone.
Well, and that's what I told you guys. Just take that chunk of when she releases him.
Expand that as a movie.
You don't even have to. Just take the chunk where she released him from his cage.
Right.
and he goes running through killing everybody, and just make that a short film.
Yeah,
I would buy
it. Yeah,
I would own that.
Right.
As like a small little snippet of him being in the Weapon X outfit.
That's just one example of where this timeline and this storyline doesn't make sense.
Yeah, not at
all.
Like,
there's also the fact that it hints at in that moment this love connection between Hugh Jackman's Wolverine and
Sophie Turner's
Jean Grey. Now, here's the thing. That doesn't make any sense.
No.
Because her age doesn't match up with her then being older and them reconnecting.
Well, and then why does... Well, it kind of does, because he ages slower, but
no,
why...
I get that, but
why does she not remember him?
Exactly.
When she woke him up. Like, that's pretty memorable.
That she would know him.
She'd be like, oh, yeah, that's Logan.
Yeah.
I even told you your name was Logan.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the one who said that. Yeah, so it's obviously a different timeline, which means they've made a third one now.
They've made a third timeline.
Right.
How?
Well, and then the other thing is, like, with all this time jumping, like,
Hold on. He's not even the only one who gets a completely different storyline.
Right.
Jean Grey gets a completely different storyline here. She is not the same Jean Grey.
Oh, no, but we don't see that till Dark Phoenix, though.
No, I know that, but what I'm saying...
it's a different one.
No, you do see it to an extent.
Yeah.
Because she blows out at the end being
already Phoenix.
She's already Phoenix.
Yeah.
Whereas in X2...
When she's like
she has
15
Phoenix,
years older.
She becomes Phoenix at the end of X2.
Yeah.
When she sacrifices herself.
Yeah, when she's like in her 30s.
Right.
Instead of being like, she's like 18 in this.
What in the heck is going on?
Well, and those jumps.
There are no story arcs and timelines happening here. You know, an arc, singular arc, goes like this, right? Right? It goes like this.
Yes.
Here is how this is what this is. There's this arc, and then this one overlaps.
Right.
And then this one overlaps. And where they all overlap is where Apocalypse happens, and it's lost. I'm confused. I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, that whole thing you just described doesn't actually make sense because it doesn't.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
You can't do overlapping arcs and expect them and there to be continuity. I can't stand time travel. It ruins all movies.
2 was fine. Having 2 arcs was fine. Like having the kind of the rebooted arc with the young people and having the original.
And like do the storyline of
that was
their
fine.
prequels to the sequels.
That was fine.
Like I get it.
And
I'm good with.
And then you know what? If Days of Future Past was the last movie they did with those casts, then that would be fine because it ended with Wolverine waking up and everything was back to normal, and we had Kelsey Grammer and we had all the James Madison and everybody was back and it was fine. And then it's over. That needed to be it.
That closed it.
And then
that closed this arc.
If you want to reboot again and like it is what it is. You can with new cast.
Then new cast. Do it all new.
Or you don't have to do that because if they would have done the actual Apocalypse where it's an alternate reality, then they could have kept all the same
alternate
people
reality
and just done alternate reality.
Do alternate reality.
Fine.
Yep, and you're set up to do alternate reality.
Yeah,
because you've sent Wolverine
back in time and skewed everything.
And you skewed it. So now what you can do is offshoots. You can do offshoots because of that.
But
that would be fine. But that isn't what happened here.
Nope. They just kept going with the Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy timeline. Except it's wrong now.
I'm totally lost in this timeline, and I can't get past it. I'm sorry. If other people are like, "Hey, that's a tiny detail," like I don't feel like it is.
It's not a tiny detail. That's not correct.
Destroys me.
Well,
because I'm like, I love these movies.
Yeah,
I love these characters. What are we doing to these characters right now?
Yeah. Well, you know what? If you're listening to this, no matter what medium you're listening to it on, go check out our contact information. If you want to send us a written-out explanation of this timeline, we would love to see it.
Sure, would love to see it.
We can't figure it out for the life of us.
Yeah, I'm lost.
It's so bad.
Timeline-wise, you can't walk me through this.
No, you can't. No, it's not. It's not worth trying to walk through it. It's too much of a mess. So we've got that. That was
Huge.
Probably the one of the biggest things. The other biggest one that we talked about was the misuse of characters, the waste of Apocalypse.
Oh my gosh.
And the inconsistencies on those characters. So we've talked about a few of those already, like Magneto's ability so he goes from being the master of magnetism to then being able to actually just rip apart the planet.
He's destroying the planet. Now,
but then why can't he stop Apocalypse?
Right.
Like, if he can rip the whole planet
on his
apart,
own.
yeah, why couldn't he stop Apocalypse? And I guess the idea is it's because Apocalypse is stronger than that.
Right.
But whatever Sophie Turner did wasn't as strong as whatever Magneto was doing. Like, he could have done that.
I don't know. I'm
There's
lost.
no
These
parameters of their powers.
Their parameters and like the scale of what they can use is all over the place.
Oh, it's terrible.
Okay, so we talked about Apocalypse. Let's use that as one example.
Yeah.
Apocalypse is using sand to just slit people's throats
at
different points. He's killing people left and right. We know that, and that's when he's weakest.
Yeah,
and
right.
Now,
he hadn't assimilated.
Now he's woken up. He's gotten many of his powers back. He's gotten a better understanding of the world around him.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't use his powers.
Yeah, well, and
he just stops using his powers.
Especially at the end, like the end fight, right?
The end fight, he kills no one.
Well, and again,
everyone walks away unscathed.
Except for Angel. He died.
Well, yeah, but he's not. He's on Apocalypse's team.
Yeah. But so
someone needs to die.
You've mentioned this before, in that they just can't. They can't do group battles. Like, they can't figure it out.
They can't
and
figure
again,
it out,
they didn't. They did a little bit better on this one because they had like multiple things happening towards Apocalypse at once.
But it's only one or two people ever fighting at a time.
Right. And
it's never a good group battle.
And so he grabs Mystique, right?
Sure.
Like, so Mystique comes up disguised as Psylocke.
Yep.
And he grabs Mystique, and she's not super strong. Like, that's not her power. She can shapeshift, and she's a good fighter, right? But she's just
she probably has great agility and can jump real high though.
Well, if she's a mutant, then definitely.
Right. She has great agility. And
but that doesn't even help here. So she has normal skin, like strength, right?
Yeah,
it's not like Superman. So he just holds on to her, like he goes to choke her, right?
Slowly choking her out.
Well, why doesn't he just use the sand to chop her head off?
Why doesn't he just break her neck?
Right. Either way, I mean, the sand would have been cooler. But regardless, he could kill her in an instant.
But I mean, he can do any, like...
Same with Quicksilver. He stops him, and he breaks his leg.
Right.
Like to stop, or puts the thing through his leg to stop him from running.
Which
is fine.
You were able
to just kill him.
Stop and recognize and move fast enough to stop the fastest being in this universe.
Yeah.
And just kill him.
Just kill him.
You did not hesitate to kill anybody else.
Yeah, the dudes with guns at the beginning that were holding Storm hostage or whatever that she had stolen from.
Slits their throats.
Just kills them instantly. No remorse.
Bat an eye.
Right.
Bat an eye.
Now I get that he doesn't want to kill mutants if he doesn't have to because he thinks he's the father of all of them. But these guys are definitely not gonna side with you.
No.
Like, just kill them.
Nope.
Just kill them. You know, you even talk about culling the weak, which is a harkening back to the original comic, where there was cullings, which were meant to kill out the weak mutants, and his horsemen would go do that.
Right.
So he's not opposed to killing mutants. So why isn't he just killing these guys?
And the other thing is, he's going to have Psylocke kill them.
Yeah. So why doesn't he just do it?
You just do it.
Yeah. Like, I get that he doesn't want to get his hands dirty if he doesn't have to, because he's pretending to be a god. But when they're right there and you have your hand on them, like you're choking them, just kill them.
His whole use of powers at the end is two things.
Yeah.
He gets into Professor Xavier's brain.
Right.
He's there already.
That's fine.
And he grows gigantic.
Which is super cool. Just stay like that.
We know you can do that in person. Just do that.
Stay like that.
But then
in the comics, he's 12 feet tall.
All he does is he forms a bubble shield around him.
Yeah.
That's it!
Yeah, what's...
You're Apocalypse!
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's not like...
Your whole thing is defense?
Magneto's tearing the planet apart for you, so go do your part.
He's currently destroying the planet.
Yeah.
All you had to do was kill these guys, and you are the most powerful mutant.
Well, so we established earlier on, though, and you and I have talked about this, that he's not the brightest Apocalypse. Because when he goes and picks people,
some bad people.
So we understand Magneto, because Magneto's ridiculously strong.
Smart.
Right? And a super smart dude.
Pick.
We get
smart
him.
Pick.
Angel...
he is a first round, first pick of the draft.
100%.
Mutant draft, Magneto goes first round, first pick, usually.
It's either him or X.
Yeah.
Right? Him or Professor X. Because they're both highest tier mutants.
Right.
And they've been using their powers for the longest. They've honed their skills.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
Angel, I can get, because Archangel is in the comics. Angel is a horseman at one point.
Yes.
So I get that. Okay,
I
get that. But Wolverine was also a horseman at one point, and Sabretooth was also a horseman at one point. Why aren't they bringing in people like that?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Angel looked super cool.
Yeah,
so here's
Archangel
the thing.
was great.
Archangel is going to look super cool.
Yeah.
I get it.
And he's new. Like, we haven't seen a lot of
seen
Angel.
Do it. All right, fine.
And he was a good, the actor was good. Like, I liked the kid who played him. He was fun.
That I will accept. It's not smart. It's not a good pick, but I will accept the pick.
Now, Storm as an adult.
Oh,
great
Storm.
pick.
Storm
as an adult,
have been
great pick.
Destroying.
Storm as a kid still should have been strong.
Yeah,
but they wasted her.
What did she use? Lightning like twice, and then and then she like hid behind rubble.
She made some clouds.
She did some lightning, and then she hid behind the rubble.
Like, I get she's a kid, but he awoken her powers. Like, she should be.
She should have been.
She's goddess level. Like, she should be able to wipe him out. Yeah.
The entire battlefield should have been covered in storm weather.
Right.
And like, what are you going to do at that point? You're lighting it up with lightning.
Yeah.
That is exactly what should be happening. He not only awoke the powers in her, he raised those powers up. We didn't see any of that from her. It makes no sense as to her use in this movie.
Yeah. And then we have Psylocke. Olivia Munn plays Psylocke, and Betsy Braddock is. I love her as a character. She's the sister of Captain Britain, and she's got some cool psionic powers.
Not a horsewoman.
But not for the apocalypse. Like, I just
no.
Or they should have like made her powers way better. But
her all that happened was her sword got longer.
Yeah, and she got a whip.
She got
like an electric whip. But it's like he goes in to talk.
What?
Apocalypse goes in to talk to Caliban, which Caliban was great. He's a mutant finder. He was great for the comics. He goes in to talk to him to find powerful mutants, which is super smart because he doesn't know that Xavier has Cerebro. He doesn't know that it exists at this point.
Yep.
And Caliban is the thing. Like, he'll do what Xavier can do just at a smaller level.
Yep.
So like, he's great. So he goes to him, and then Psylocke comes out and like points like her psionic
blade
sword at his neck.
Yep.
And that's what convinces him to be like, oh, you'd be a great horseman. Like, Wolverine's out there.
What?
Sabretooth is out there.
What?
Like, you've got some killer, like, horseman capability
I guess the whole resume is like, if you threaten me, you become a horseman.
I guess.
But
Caliban
pointless.
threatened him, too, and he didn't get to be a horseman.
It's so
because
pointless.
Caliban stinks.
Yeah.
As a fighter, he's good for other things.
Yeah.
But like, and Psylocke is a great superhero and a great mutant, and she's cool in the comics. I like her in the comics. But
Bishop's out there somewhere, and Bishop has like the same power except so much better.
Yeah, Bishop. Well, Bishop's like a kid at this point because he's.
I guess you're right.
He's in the future.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
But
That's
Sean
fair.
Sean Cassidy, Banshee's out there.
Yeah.
Like, get Sean Cassidy in there, or Emma Frost is out there somewhere.
Oh, that's true.
Where's
too.
Emma Frost? Like, get some. There's some powerful people out there.
It makes no sense. To
Why
me.
don't you get the Juggernaut's
the
out
thing.
there somewhere?
Juggernaut.
Get Juggernaut.
Yeah, Juggernaut.
Like,
Yes.
come on.
Here's the thing,
not
man.
Psylocke. Sorry, I like Psylocke.
All of their fights were one
or
two on one
at the most.
They never like they never combined good fighting. Like the whole extent. Here's the whole extent of a team battle in this movie. Psylocke is running off of a building.
Yes.
And Angel catches her.
Right, and brings her up to
the X-Jet. That's it. That's the extent of them working together. I mean, the only other one was like when Storm and Psylocke, like, she's like, split them up. And they split them up. And then the whole rest of the time, we fight split up.
Well, that's because the writers were like, hey, one of them was like, we should do a team battle. And they were like, nah, it'd be better if we just split them up.
Right.
Let's just split them up. That'd be better.
It's literally the Horsemen versus the X-Men.
Yeah.
And we didn't do a team battle.
Let's do a team battle.
What are we doing?
And then,
what is going on, guys?
And then they end it, and then they end the
X-Men
battle.
literally just go on a loop of, I'm going out there.
Yeah, my turn.
My turn. Tag me in.
Oh, I lost.
This
my
is like
turn.
a giant tag team battle in wrestling. Like, what is going on?
Well, and you know what? It points to lazy fight choreography because it's tough to think of because fight choreography isn't just a fight; it's a story within a fight.
Right.
And so, in order to do that with multiple people, that's difficult. And to figure out how to stage that's
and
tough.
how to use their powers together.
Yeah,
like that is about
tough.
combining their powers, utilizing the different fields around them to be able to do that in a better way. What you're doing is you're amplifying your team members' power by your powers.
Yeah.
That is the whole purpose. You see that we've talked about this before. Expendables is a great example. They're using each other's powers. Expendables is not.
Well, they work together.
Working as a team.
Yeah, they work as a team.
I actually,
that's not a bad. Keep that in there. That's not a bad. Yeah, that's not a bad one.
Expendables. I meant to say
Incredibles is
but I got
more...
Expendables, but a good. So it still works. The analogy still works.
Either
way,
they should have done
but
that.
I do mean Incredibles. So the Incredibles are the best example. They're using each other's powers to make them better.
Yep.
That like I can't do this thing
without you. Yep.
That clearly didn't happen here. It is literally like I am just going to do it without you, and I go and do it.
Yep, one at a time. And then when that doesn't work,
I just come back and I send you in.
No, well then they just go to Jean Grey because apparently she's already the Phoenix.
She is Phoenix.
I guess
she didn't go to space yet.
No, and
Phoenix is
from space.
From space.
Phoenix in space.
Like I don't know if people. Here's the thing. I don't know about at the time if people were just like, we can't do space stuff. It's not going to work. People won't believe it.
Yeah, and then Guardians of the Galaxy and Captain Marvel and all these great movies came out. And it was fantastic.
I just think people were afraid to go to space.
You know what? That's because again,
they won't believe an alien symbiote. What?
They went and watched Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, and they saw what that was, and they were like, ugh. We don't ever want to do space.
Well, that's because they made Galactus a giant space cloud.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Phoenix wipes out Apocalypse in one hit.
Right.
It like fries him down to the DNA.
She's just walking on air.
Yeah, which I wasn't super mad about how it looked. The look was fine. But it was like
screams and becomes a giant
Firebird.
Phoenix.
But the thing is, here's the deal. I don't care about her because I haven't learned to care about her yet.
No,
right?
I don't.
So
so when you reveal Phoenix,
so when
at
she
that point,
does
I'm just
that, it's like,
who cares?
Okay, fine. But there was no build up to her being Phoenix. There was no build up to her trying to control something. There was no even build up to like
Apocalypse is blown away by seeing her. He's like, oh,
right.
My child, he's like,
right. He recognizes
the immense power.
Phoenix.
Yeah, he recognizes the Phoenix. He recognizes the immense power.
You know what would have been better?
I didn't recognize it,
you know what would have been better?
Get it?
If she had gone to space and gotten that being inside of her in a previous movie, and then been struggling with it, and then it came out at the end, and he recognized it because he's a being who recognizes that power because he's seen it in the cosmos before.
He's seen it in the
Then that would have been better.
We
had no. Like we should have had a movie with Jean and Scott. At least Jean and Scott. I can see Nightcrawler being new and Storm being new. That's fine. But at least have Jean and Scott have some kind of a build, because in all honesty, I hated Dark Phoenix, the next movie, but the Jean and Scott bit was better because I had a little bit of them in Apocalypse. Like, we didn't even need to do a lot. We had very little in Apocalypse.
Sure.
But because of that, the second movie, I liked them a little bit more because there was something to build off of. Even if it was a little. So they should have done more.
Yeah, we're digressing from the fact that she can't be what she is at this point.
Well, no, I think that's the point, though, is that if they would have had her in another movie,
I get what you're
then
saying.
She could have been. Then it would have been more believable.
They're missing a movie in here.
At least one.
At least one where they build all of this up.
Yep.
Like, I mean, the overarching theme here of Apocalypse is they rushed the heck out of one of the best storylines that they had, and they blew it.
And then the stinger was Mr. Sinister, which is stupid because Mr. Sinister has to do with Apocalypse.
Sure.
He should have been before that. They should have had Mr. Sinister experimenting on mutants.
Right.
in the movie in between,
right?
And then have that build.
That's the way you do that.
Yeah, and then
that's the movie you get to build exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's the movie where you get this. You get that build with Scott and Jean.
Yep.
You get her going to space. You get, or even experimentation on her that opens this up.
Well,
you don't want to do.
And then they can step into Nathan
alien
Summers
symbiote.
Right?
Yes,
they can take their DNA and make Nathan Summers with Mr. Sinister.
There you
and
go.
Then you got stepping into Cable.
But now
there's so much
a mess.
You got nothing now.
You got nothing. You did
because
it in the wrong order.
Guess what? They never did Mr. Sinister.
Right.
We never got to see him.
You tease it.
And
then you don't do it.
And then the next movie was Dark Phoenix, and not even Mr. Sinister. Like they had another movie.
Yeah,
where'd Mr. Sinister go?
Where'd Mr. Sinister go? And how do we get Cable in Deadpool 2 when we don't have the storyline between Jean and Scott?
Because Deadpool don't care. He does what he wants.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah, I know.
He needs because this was a mess.
This was a mess, man. All right. Verdict time?
I guess so.
I mean, I think we've already pretty much said
I mean, the verdict on this is
more movies before you try and do this.
Exactly.
More movies.
Just spread out the Age of Apocalypse storyline. This could have easily been a trilogy. An Age of Apocalypse trilogy would have been phenomenal. You explore all of those alternate storylines that we could have seen in this.
Branched off from Days of Future Past.
Branch off of Days of Future Past. Alternate reality where all of these things are happening that you described.
Yeah.
You get all those side storylines built together, and you be able to start with Sinister and build to Apocalypse.
Yeah.
This is your best story, arguably the best, the best one that X-Men had, and they blew it.
Yep, yeah, and it was a simple. It was, to me, the storytelling was out of fear and rushing it.
That's
so they
fair.
wanted to rush it, and they were too afraid to go down that rabbit hole that is Age of Apocalypse.
They were too afraid to do anything.
Yeah.
They were too afraid to do alien symbiotes. They were too afraid to have Apocalypse be complete as the character. Be completely explored and use his powers completely.
Right.
And then they were completely afraid to do any of those side storylines.
Yep.
Like you didn't do Age of Apocalypse. You did a character of Apocalypse in a movie as a villain.
Yeah.
That's what you did.
Yeah. Yeah.
You didn't do Age of Apocalypse. You just did here's a new bad guy.
Yeah.
Who's the same as all other bad guys, except he's not.
Except he's terrible. It was so bad, man. It was so bad. And there were so many, again, and we say this pretty much every time we do a correction because that's why it's a correction. But just they didn't stick to the and we don't need them to stick to everything in the comics. But they didn't stick to the core. If you're going to do the story from the comics, then stick to the core aspects.
Right.
Or just make a completely new story. If you want to do a completely new story,
don't call it then Age of Apocalypse.
Right. Don't get people excited about Apocalypse if you're not going to do Apocalypse right.
Exactly.
And take your time and do it correctly with the build. I don't get it. The Bryan Singer when he came back for Days of Future Past, he set up their ability to walk out Age of Apocalypse properly.
Teed it up.
Exactly. The same way the same way he teed up X3 and Brett Ratner dive bombed it.
That's true.
Right? So
that's true.
He set up the chance to explore.
But this is the
these
problem
when
you change directors. That's what happens. They go their own way instead of actually listening and following to what was there.
Yeah, 100%.
And you
know what?
What?
I was like, I wonder who the director of Age of Apocalypse is. Guess who it is? It's Bryan Singer. Sorry.
Well, then
you know what,
mind.
Bryan Singer? I take it back.
What the heck did you do?
You teed up yourself, and then you dropped the ball.
You messed this
what
up,
happened?
Bryan Singer.
Oh, you know what?
You know what? To everything that I was saying,
just
take
take
it
that back.
Take that back. He messed this
you know
up,
Bryan
man.
Singer, this is what you should have done.
This is on you.
I thought you knew how to do it, but I guess
you
not.
teed yourself up, and then you messed it all up.
You dropped it. You dropped the ball. It's like when you go out for T-ball and you swing and you just miss the whole thing.
Yep.
That's what happened. The
That's
ball was
exactly,
sitting there,
was
perfect
right there.
level. You had the bat that's like extra wide so you can make sure you hit the ball.
Yep.
And then you swung and you hit the catcher.
That's right.
That's what happened.
That's exactly what happened here.
Oh.
It's a perfect analogy. Thanks for listening to the Legion of Comic Correction. Don't forget to check out our other episodes streaming everywhere you listen to podcasts. We're also on the major social platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Just search Legion of Comic Correction.
That's right. And make sure to check out our Patreon for exclusive supporter specials at patreon.com/Legion of CC. New episodes come out every Monday.
And Wednesdays.
No, just Mondays.
And Wednesdays?
I don't think we can do Wednesdays.
We can do Wednesdays.
All right, Mondays and Wednesdays. We'll see you guys next week. Same time, same place, same Legion.